Y'all already know what's going on. Y'all already know what's going on, man. We in the building, Attitude Era podcast. Y'all see me. Shout out to my guy Cool Kai with this legendary WWE Attitude sweater. Boom. Y'all peep the back. The back is kind of crazy. Ain't a bunch of wrestlers on there. But we lit. We lit right now. Right now, let me introduce the guys that run this most of the time. I damn near special guest. Shout out to Archie Carter, King HP, my guy Gamaj. But look, right now in the wrestling world, it is a heated conversation. We're gonna get to it. A lot of people are saying after John Cena turned heel that he literally has the greatest heel turn of all time, which inspired all of us on the podcast to come up with our top 10 greatest heel turns in professional wrestling ever. So we got a 10. It's AI generated. We all four made a list. We put it in chat GPT, and then they came up with a list averaging out everybody that we had on there. So Jerry, let's start us at 10. Who's on 10 for the top greatest heel turn?
10 is the Mark Henry retirement / psych. I lied. I didn't retire. And the infamous salmon jacket. You know what I'm saying? Mark Henry, a man of stature. This is why it's so crazy, because I think a lot of people really did believe he was about to retire and it was going to be the end of a little era. You know what I'm saying? But he had different intent from Mr. Cena. So yeah, Mark Henry coming in at number 10 with that jacket that added the points. He had all the flavor, and we've seen that get rehashed later on down the road.
Archie?
My man said, "Baby, I'm coming home," and he lied. Mark Henry was tweeting everybody. He was making social media posts about it. Tune in. I'm retiring. It's a wrap. And it's an iconic. We all thought the Hall of Pain was getting shut down. Mark Henry, he pulled a fast one on us. It was a great swerve that added another layer to already good career. I think that put him up a few notches. And even his son dressed like him with the salmon jacket at the hall. It's classic. So fire. I don't know who had anything to do with that, but well executed. And hey, Mark Henry, he made the list.
He definitely made the list. For me, I just feel like anytime you could do something and it could really impact people to the point now where they got to second guess everything else because they seen that, that's when you know you onto something. And why I say that is because now you have certain people that don't believe John Cena is really retiring because of Mark Henry's fake retirement. So that's how you know how powerful it was, because he created something that now anytime a wrestler says they out of here, you're going to sit there and be like, are they? Or are they just pulling the Mark Henry? Mr. Mars.
There was ever a time a wrestler would get an Oscar. It was that moment right there, man. Nobody and their moms thought he was really gonna do that. And it happened in a time when wrestling was kind of predictable, and it just shattered all of that, which made it even a bigger moment than it was. And I feel like it's actually a moment Henry doesn't get enough credit for, even though now people are viewing it and giving him the accolades he deserves, similar to how his world heavyweight world title shot run was. But it was a great moment.
Speaking of Oscar, 3-6 Mafia, underrated theme song, because somebody gonna get their ass kicked.
Facts.
Now, like I said, we all might have not had Mark Henry at 10, but that's how it averaged out with the list. Jerry, number 9.
Yo, this number 9, I don't know. Some of y'all might put it higher, some of y'all might put it lower, but you know what I'm saying? Right now, we got number 9, Seth Rollins with the chair to the back of Roman Reigns. Yeah, baby. We talk about the destruction of the Shield. Maybe even one of the most dominant factions, I mean, in the history. It's very arguable. You know what I'm saying? This changed the whole culture. We didn't see this coming because guess what? There was no need for the Shield to break up, baby. They was riding high. They was on the verge of championships at the highest level. And Seth Rollins was like, nah, we don't need that. And he changed the culture, changed the landscape with one shot. Young. And for that shot, we gonna take a shot.
Hey.
We not going to take a shot. You going to take a shot. But Archie, go ahead.
The chair shot heard around the world. It was a big deal. And I know they say time heals all wounds, but they lied. Because we even saw last year at WrestleMania, Seth Rollins, he's still not over it. So you talk about some long-term booking. It was another well done. Nobody saw it coming. If anybody turned in the Shield, I don't think we thought it would be Seth, but he did. And hey, Mr. Rollins, you made the list.
Yeah, for me, it was so impactful because like it put them all on different trajectories in their careers. And that's what I feel like a great heel turn is, when it elevates. When you see a person that either is already established or and it makes them more established, or they're not established, and the heel turn makes them who they are. Like after that, Seth Rollins, I think he went from being like in a trio to aligning himself with Triple H. Now he becomes that main event guy. Because, you know, at first the only push was from Roman, and then everybody else was kind of like, you know, a sidekick. So that kind of put Seth in that, nah, Roman, I'm on the same level as you. That's why, bam. And even though y'all seen that chair shots is the reason Roman Reigns is not the Universal Champion now. So, good night. Come on.
Yeah. And one thing about that turn that a lot of people don't talk about is the way he embraced it following. And then he had that interview. Everybody's talking about you sold out, you sold out. He's one of the few wrestlers who said, nah, I bought in. Y'all missed out. I bought in. It was my time. I had to move. I had to elevate. I bought in. What you mean sell out? A lot of people don't talk about how he embraced it, and that's why I love the heel turn even more than when it actually happened.
Age like fine wine.
Number 8, Jerry.
This might be one of the craziest heel turns in history, and I'm gonna tell you why real quick.
It could be higher.
At number 8,
my list was higher.
We got Randy Savage breaking up the Mega Powers. Hulk Hogan. Oh, yo, let me tell you. It started over a woman. It started over a woman. It started over Miss Elizabeth. But you know what's crazy? Hulk Hogan was trying to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? He took her to the back to get aided. But let me tell you something. As a grown man, you do not take someone else's chick to get aid and leave your mans. Hulk Hogan is absolutely diabolical for this. And that's what makes the heel turn only got worse as I got older. And Macho Man had every right to say, damn it, you know what I'm saying? We taking out that red and yellow, and he tried, but at WrestleMania 5, and it just didn't happen. But that was also crazy to break up a power tag team of that magnitude, man. Shout out to you, Mr. Savage.
When I saw Hulk touch my lady, I lost my freaking mind. When I was a kid, it was nothing bigger than Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, the Warrior, that whole class. So to see those two together was like, but to see them break up, it was like, what? The only issue I have with this is that it kind of spilled over into real life. You know what I'm saying? Hogan and Savage had a bad relationship outside of wrestling. Randy Savage dropped the whole album. Be a man, Hogan. Be a man. So definitely one of the another surprise heel turn breakup. But like I said, it got a little messy. But hey, in the wrestling ring, it was magic. And another one I didn't expect as a kid. I was hurt.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the reason why I like it the most, because it was real, man. All of those, like, wrestling has that fine line to where they take a real story and then they incorporate it into the storyline, and usually it goes over well because it's real emotion. Macho Man really felt like, Hulk Hogan, you trying to take my lady. He really felt like he was trying to, you know what I mean, snatch us. So he was really on one, and it was real. And at that time, you know, it was just a great storyline, because you thought Elizabeth and Macho Man was just inseparable. So to see that split and then they play into it, and then she's not on the side no more, is definitely one of the greatest heel turns ever. You know?
You can actually say when that happened, it was kind of the start of a lot of toxic storyline relationships because of that moment. Prior to that, I don't think I've ever seen any kind of heel turn or like team break up because of a girl. And technically, that's what it was.
Wars have been started over women.
Yeah.
So Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, y'all made the list.
Yo, crazy.
Number seven, Jerry.
Number 7 is absolutely insane because this one doesn't seem to have much impact at the time. You have to go back and look. But number 7, Roman Reigns becomes the tribal chief. He dismisses a whole persona. We ain't doing big dog. We ain't doing babyface. This is what? He said, "Can't no man push my button. Can't nobody knock me out." This was confidence exuded to the maximum level. You know what I'm saying? This was confidence on still. There was not a mirror that could look Roman Reigns in the face and think they was on an equal level, brother. Because I'm telling you right now, Roman Reigns was on one, and to be honest, he never came back down. He's technically still in that heel turn, and him aligning with Paul Heyman made it even better because just when you think Paul Heyman couldn't get any better on the mic, brother, hey, he's got us all locked in. And Roman Reigns, salute, good brother, because you started one of the greatest storylines in history and potentially one of the greatest factions, the Bloodline.
I remember when Acknowledge Me wasn't quite hitting. And now it's part of wrestling. Roman Reigns, tribal chief persona. I think it's a big part of it people don't remember. When it was in the Thunderdome and the COVID and he was beating the hell out of the Usos. And Roman was a menace. And he recently said the big dog era, that never happened. He don't know what that was or who that was. So he's even passed on that in real life. So the Roman Reigns, like I said, HP, it started like a 4-year run. He's still in the picture, but it was something else. Like it was. I don't think people saw it becoming what it is, and it's legendary. He's a Hall of Famer just off that alone, not counting the other work he did.
Yeah, man. This at 7 is, if we talk about impact, man, it should be 2. Because it's no bigger impact than this in terms of a turn than Hogan. This literally saved this guy's career. He was out of here. Like nobody was even thinking about him, taking him serious. It saved his career. He made other people's career. He made 8 people's career afterward. Jacob, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Solo, the Usos, main event Jey Uso. Like he literally, it's crazy. Like that one move, how impactful that was. So that heel turn is just crazy, man. And then Paul Heyman, like being able that he went from like, you know what I mean, my client. Yes, my tribal chief. Yes, my tribal chief. Like
my name is Paul Heyman.
Yeah, they just put that together. That was masterful. That was like some mafiosa type shit in wrestling. And I don't think we really seen it before. Like that's what made the Bloodline, like they move like the Sopranos. Crazy. Gamach?
If there was like a best upgrade of a character, that would have to be my number 1 moment. Because what other character change was better than Roman's in terms of let's switch this up for this person? Because I can't really think of one.
I don't think anyone could think of one that
good. And real quick, DNA, not only those 8 people, he got us the final boss.
Yeah, he got the
part boss, of the Cena heel turn because of the Cody. Like the Roman is a lot of branches on that tree. So
number 6, Jerry.
Oh my God. I want to list be Paul Bearer makes the list. Number 6, you can't even. This was the craziest. At this point, he is super inseparable. He is synonymous with the dead man, aka the Undertaker, Paul Bearer, and it happens at SummerSlam. Oh my God! Boiler Room Brawl. Him and Mankind on the verge of just offing each other. You know what I'm saying? Pause. But that's what's about to happen. There's no ring that can contain these two. They fall all the way through the. Hey, if you remember, it was the Gunned Arena. You know what I'm saying? The same one with Vader and Shawn Michaels. Yeah, we got all that. But anyway, without further ado, Paul Bearer, all Undertaker has to do was get the arm. It's in his hand. Paul Bearer's holding it, and then boom, lift my man's head up, cracked his whole cranium, and they gave it to Mankind. What we doing? Yeah. I was. I was disappointed in you, Paul.
Oh,
but it was great.
Undertaker. Paul Bearer, one of the
Greatest.
most underrated, slept on figures in wrestling. I don't think people speak about Mr. Pringle enough. Up until the day he passed away, he was still doing wrestling shows. And when you think Undertaker, you think Paul Bearer. Immediately after you think Undertaker, you think Paul Bearer. And never did we think, not only would he dip with the urn. Again, little Archie was watching this like, yo, what is happening? Why, Paul? Why? So Paul Bearer, you made the list.
Yo, man, listen, man. For me, what made it even more eerie and scary is that Undertaker's mom literally worked in a funeral home, and Paul Bearer was really a pallbearer. Was really like he worked in a funeral home for real. So the storyline again is real. That's why they embody, and that's the thing that I keep saying with these heel turns that's not in wrestling as much now is these people were really doing it, and that's just goes to even with hip hop. When you're really living what you're talking about, it hits different. There's so much more detail that can be said to just somebody playing a character that they're giving a script. Me personally, I didn't like the heel turn with Mankind, but full circle to when I have a secret, Undertaker. And he pulls up with Kane, and then he's on that run. That's what makes the heel turn crazy for me, is that they brought a new layer into it. And at that time, I'm thinking Kane is his real brother, the same height, same moves. And now Paul Bearer is coming back to get his revenge. And that Undertaker and Kane story is one of the greatest stories in wrestling ever. So Paul Bearer is a part of that. Crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. What made that heel turn great is that it leads into the Undertaker King rivalry. And just to actually even see Paul Bearer do that, where it's like the father destruction just turning on practically the wrestler you damn near like birthed gimmick wise into the business, and that happens. That was crazy to me at the time. But it was a great turn.
Nah. Number 5, Jerry.
Oh, no. I can't even do that. No more baby oil. That's what Hulk Hogan said. That's how Andre the Giant used to sound. You know what I'm saying? Number 5 is Andre the Giant. He aligns himself with the Heenan family. We got to get a heel because WrestleMania 3 is going down. We've already had 1. That was a major success. 2, there was a little bit of a step back. So 3, we got to do something big. And we have Hulk Hogan who's rising through the ranks. I'm a real. Well, check this out. There's one thing you haven't done. You haven't beat the man who is the man. The man with over like 10 years of undefeatedness, and that is Andre the Giant. But we can't have him be face, baby. No. We got to have him be a heel. He got to be nasty. He got to take he going to choke Hogan out on, what was it, Brother Love show? I can't even remember. But at the end of the day, Andre the Giant's heel turn sets up WrestleMania 3, which becomes so big it launches into 4 or 5. So it rebounds from what WrestleMania 2 did. It is the staple, and it becomes an iconic moment that really launches Hulkamania into this next stratosphere. So without that heel turn, would Hogan be as big? Probably not. So thank you, Andre the Giant, for giving us those great moments. The 8th wonder of the world.
Let me tell you something, Jerry. Look, man. Bobby Heenan, the Heenan family, again, not talked about enough, underrated. Andre the Giant was the biggest and best thing in wrestling. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't get bigger. And the thing about these heel turns that we're talking about, it all led to something else. This is the real start of Hulkamania. Andre was snatching chains. He snatched Hogan's chain off. You know, Roman led to what we got going on now. Like these things, Paul Bearer's turn led to us getting Kane. And, yo, these things were significant. And when we look back at it, it's like, yo, these were huge moments. But again, I think I got PTSD from wrestling. Now that I'm thinking about this, because again, little Archie was watching. It's like, yo, what is he? Hogan just told me, say my prayers, take my vitamins. I was chilling. Why? Why, Andre? Why?
Yo, man, listen, man. Just being, because I was young when I wasn't even born when this happened. But watching it back and just seeing how Andre the Giant switched and then Hulk Hogan made that moment I used the bar about it 20 years later when I battled Dre Dennis. I'll be the first to lift on Dre. I'm Hulk Hogan. Like, so just for the fact you're able to use a bar out of it 20, 30 years later, and it's just the iconic moment. And when you think of Hulk Hogan, you think of America, you think of him ripping the shirt off, you think of him body slamming Andre the Giant. So when it's in those top three, associated with Hulk Hogan, the most popular, regardless of how we feel about him now. But
that's Terry. That's Terry we don't like. We like Hulk Hogan. We don't like Terry.
We don't like Terry, but like one of the most popular wrestler ever. Andre the Giant is associated with him, so that heel turn is godly. Mr. March.
No more baby oil.
Is it safe to say that Andre's heel turn is one of the first heartbreaks we've had in wrestling?
Yeah.
I think it's a better word than heartbreak. I just can't figure out what it is. I'm gonna go through Webster's tonight and I'm gonna find it.
That sounded creepy, but cool.
Because I just feel like, as far as a big stage or main stage rivalry, that was like the first like heartbreak moment that everyone around the world just felt sad when they see that happen.
I think that's what you're trying to say. It was impactful. It was impactful, and it was in front of the masses. You know what I'm saying? A lot of eyes was on it. It was just big moments. That's why we got the list, because we're talking about the biggest heel turns, because it's a hot topic right now.
Hey, I was so young, I thought he was gonna kill Hogan. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm telling you, I think we all got PTSD. We need therapy, but we love it.
Number 4, Jerry.
Number 4 already?
Number 4 already, but we're gonna kick it off. This is a crazy this shit gonna make a lot of people upset, but it's okay, because that's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold says so. Stone Cold aligning himself up with the man that why? Vince McMahon? Listen. Stone Cold represented every one of us want to kick our boss's ass. This is before the what? It's before all that. This is Stone Cold. Remember, he pulled the gun on Vince, and then he had Vince piss himself in the ring. He done stunned Linda. He done stunned everybody, kicking the McMahon's ass. All their family tree is stunted. It was the best time in wrestling. And then when he goes against The Rock, this is it. These are the two. This is the Warrior Hogan remade at WrestleMania 17, and there's nothing bigger than this at the time. Pause. And Stone Cold will do anything. We like, yeah, he'll do everything, man.
Archie, man, this is my favorite. I gotta go, man.
I was gonna say skip me anyway, because I was taught if you don't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all.
This right here made me stop watching wrestling, bro. That's how serious I took this Stone Cold shit. I started drifting off away from wrestling. Like Vince McMahon aligned himself, Stone Cold aligned himself with Vince McMahon. Like I can't, it was just too early. It didn't make sense. It just, they talk about it. He regrets it and all that. So we're not going to beat, you know what I mean? Stone Cold knows it wasn't the right move, but I just don't understand it. And like, only thing I could think is, you know what I mean? He was on the pod and he said it was a difference when he wasn't around, but this is post Vince Russo, man. I don't think Vince Russo, still being a writer, he writes this as a storyline, because it was so much there, so much hatred. Like it meant, like I said about being real, it meant more than just wrestling. This guy defied all the rules against his boss. We don't want to see him. First of all, we don't want to see him as a heel. And second of all, if he does, we don't want to see him with this guy. And it's crazy to say that, even though it was not a good heel turn, it's still one of the biggest, because it was so left. You did not expect it at all.
Yeah, it was very impactful. And I think, like you said, I think it was because he aligned with Vince. If he had turned heel by himself or with somebody else, I don't know if the moment becomes as big of a moment as it is. And when
what's crazy is he damn near was already a heel. That's the point of just be Stone Cold.
And you did this in your hometown in Texas too, so nobody thought you was going to do that.
Yeah.
And it is sinking for me until the following week on SmackDown when JR interviewed him, and he beat the shit out of JR.
Yeah, that's what made it crazy because that was
That's why I was like, oh nah, this really happening right now.
That's what made it crazy, bro. He had his way with JR.
When he set JR on fire.
Yeah, he had his way with JR. Number 3, Jerry.
Bon God, he stumped the mud hole in Milwaukee Drive.
Number 3, I mean, this is in real time. We watching John Cena and The Rock. They align. The final boss in Cena Nation, Mr. Make-A-Wish, is now breaking them. And that's what happened. He broke the hearts of many. Cody Rhodes was presented an offer to sell his soul to The Rock. He did not take it. And John Cena was right there to congratulate him. They going to WrestleMania, baby. They going to make history. And then John looked at The Rock, and then they decided that Cody going to be history. And they proceeded to whip his ass. Man, even Travis Scott got in on the action. He up here busting eardrums. It was bad. And John Cena had so much of, he had been a good guy for so long. We wanted him to turn. We wanted him to turn to the point where it's not going to happen. That when it did happen, it's crazy. Shannon Sharp talked about it. Stephen A. Smith talked about it. It's big.
Pause. This is Austin all over again, but done at the right time, at the right way. That's what it is. And maybe that's why Cena never turned early in his career, because it would have been kind of like that. People been calling for it, and people wanted. I'm watching people in real life on social media say, hey, John Cena turned heel, I'm turning heel too. So it's a lot of the C Nation energy has shifted. Like HP said, he ain't making wishes no more, he breaking wishes. And let's keep Travis Scott out of the ring. Let's hey, you gotta protect the merchandise, Travis Scott. Maybe he didn't get the memo, but yeah.
I like it, man. Just for the simple fact it's on some real NWO shit. He was like Dennis Rodman. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was there. But listen, this is most impactful. This is most impactful, one, because it was unpredictable and nobody seen that this was gonna happen. Me, after watching for a while, I could gauge matches. I even gauged the Elimination Chamber match from the beginning. I said, John Cena's winning the Elimination Chamber. I knew that. But, you know, I'm thinking Cody eventually turns heel, because I said there's no way they could do babyface versus babyface. Not with these two. It's too cheesy. Like, it would have just not hit. Nobody would have brought into it. What I'm thinking is Cody. So when Cody declines the offer, I'm waiting for somebody's music to hit, because I'm like, there's no way it's going to be John Cena. And then when he hugs him and he looked at The Rock, as soon as he looked at The Rock, I said, final boss, I take everything back, man. The final, and I'll leave it on this. The final boss does some dumb shit every first time he comes around. But then by the time he gets here, he makes up for it big time. When he interjected with Cody and Roman's match, hated him. Turned to the final boss, loved him. When he said, I wanted to take your soul, and hated him.
Mama Rose.
Cena turned and sold his soul to The Rock. Crazy, like his plot twister, insane. That's what made it godly. So that is, even though it just happened, it's one of the greatest heel turns.
I'm gonna just say this, as everybody here knows, not the biggest Cena fan. You mention anything Cena towards me, I just don't care about him. And I say that to say this.
Damn.
The fact that this man turned heel and I'm invested in him in this, shows you how great and impactful that moment was.
And this is happening right now. That's the crazy part.
The most I've actually cared to be entertained by this man.
What you gotta say fuck me for?
What's Cena do to you, man?
You know, the words of 50 Cent. What they say fuck me
I just woke up.
You know what I mean?
We gotta talk to Kamaj after this about
look, if I start talking about it, man, y'all gonna get Z to jump me, bro. I ain't trying to do all that, have all those problems right now.
I'm gonna set it up after I have
after a podcast heel turn. Oh man,
yo, if I turn heel, it's out with everybody, man. I'm whooping Z's ass first. You hear me? Face DNA is cool. If I turn heel, I'm whooping Z's ass first.
Z, that dude in the Royal Rumble where everybody turn and look at him like, yeah, they all attacking him and shit. But that's dope though. That's number 3. But now number 2. 2, man. 2 is always going to be in a class by itself. 2 is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, who's not even known as the Heartbreak Kid yet. He is in a group called the Rockers, and he is about to separate from Marty Jannetty. Now, this happens in a time of wrestling where the brutality this is not what the WWF at that time, is not what they do. He goes on the barber shop, which is Brutus the Barber Beefcake show that he has. Like later down the road, you see the Heartbreak Hotel. Later down the road, you see Y2J and the Grayson Waller Effect and all those things, right? But it all goes back to these shows, right? So anyway, on the barber shop, it was already some rumblings. These men, remember, they came in WWE together as a tag team, so they had already been running the ropes together. You know what I'm saying? And they were just inseparable, man. They were rock stars. They were rock stars. And here it is. Shawn decides, you know what? I'm done with this tag team shit. And he puts Marty Jannetty through the glass, y'all. Busts Marty Jannetty up like something we had never seen at that time. Takes a little fans wrestling magazine where it had the Rockers and rips it right in half. So each one is on each page and drops it. And he's out. And it's the first time we see Shawn Michaels use the super kick. He didn't even use it as a finisher yet. Shawn Michaels heel turn, brother.
If they had social media back then, this would probably been the most viewed clip of all time in wrestling. Like HB said, we never saw this before. The Rockers were clean cut, babyface. They looked good. They wrestled good. The women loved them. They were wrestling rock stars. And Shawn Michaels said, I'm ready to fly solo. And they went to the barbershop and we got what we got. Again, little Archie's watching. It's like, what is going on? And this is why I like wrestling. This is why I watch wrestling. When it's done right, it's done right. And you can pinpoint a time in your life where were you when XYZ happened, right? That's what wrestling is. And it takes me back to a time, even if for a few hours out the week, where I was just a kid again. And I was a kid watching this. I was like, no, man. I think that's where my Shawn Michaels hate might have started, actually. So.
Nice. Yo, listen, man. Listen, man. Again, the reason why these heel turns in the top 3 are where they're at because they were so unpredictable. No one seen this about to happen. Shawn Michaels, the good guy, going against the grain and turning his back on Marty Jannetty. And the reason why it goes at number 2 is because Shawn Michaels at this point separates himself and says he's doing his own thing. And that's how we get, the showstopper that we know today. So that's why the heel turn is so impactful, because Shawn Michaels would have been great as a partner with Marty Jannetty, but he wouldn't have been the Shawn Michaels we know had they stayed together. So it had to come to an end. That barbershop glass, Marty Jannetty, I interviewed him. You know what I mean? He is walking a little stagnant. I think it still hurts, man. But yeah. Crazy.
Man, when that happened, Shawn Michaels was the reason why anytime I saw someone with a black leather jacket, if you weren't Bret Hart, if you had a black leather jacket, I thought you was onto something. He's the reason why I had that mindset, because of that moment. And I don't think, again, not including Bret, until Bret had his moment, anybody else that was like all black, trenched up, they did some shit. They were scheming something. Shawn Michaels, to me, birthed that.
Your mind's profiling people.
Right.
And do yourself a favor. If you have not seen it, watch the Marty Jannetty Dark Side of the Ring episode. It's one of the best, most entertaining things you will ever see, because Marty Jannetty is a wild boy.
Wow, boy. And with that being said, if you really watch wrestling and you study this and you really, understand heel turns and impact, it should be no surprise, AI generated or not, what is number 1 on this list, Jerry.
You know who I am?
The greatest heel turn ever.
I'm here.
Huh?
Dog, this goes without saying. Bash at the Beach, 1996. You got a group known as the Outsiders. These are Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. They had just come over from WWE. Now, what makes this heel turn super, super, super crazy is because of Hall and Nash. What they had just done, and we're watching it in real time. They just came from. We didn't even know when Scott Hall came over. The first couple of episodes he's on, they don't even refer to him by a name. You know why? They didn't know what to call him yet. They were like, "Shit, we can't use Razor. What are we gonna do with this?"
His mama name was Scott Hall. We're gonna call him Scott Hall.
Hey, and that's what they went with. Diesel pops up. They pop up in WCW talking. This is where the big boys play. Kevin Nash using all type of incorrect English. Key adjective, play. Not an adjective, brother, but hey, it worked. But they had to go against the best WCW had to offer at the time. Randy Savage, Lex Luger, and Sting at Bash at the Beach in a 6-man tag. But we didn't know who the third man was. And that, ladies and gentlemen, when you have a damn near lifelong baby face. I mean, they talk about Cena. Yeah, that's cool. But when you talk about 1996 and this man go back to 84 with it. I mean, this say your prayers, eat your vitamins, train. And then you fans can stick it, brother.
This wasn't just a heel turn to wrestling. It was also a heel turn to the wrestling business. Because I think a lot of people forget one big moment that came out of this too, the curtain call. That was part of this because they were leaving. It was like, yo, we out. Curtain call was a heel turn. Hogan showing up was a heel turn. Them leaving WWF at the time was a heel turn. Even them bringing in fake Razor and Diesel, it was so, brother. Once that domino fell, so many more dominoes fell from this, and it started the wrestling revolution that made us love it. Attitude Era podcast come from Attitude Era, which was part of the start, which was the Monday Night Wars, the 83 weeks, and nothing will be as big, I don't think, ever in wrestling as the formation of the NWO, the peak of it, but then also the NWO and what they was doing kind of put WCW in the hole. So, but it was fun while it lasted. And it started with Hogan coming out there and getting the trash dumped on him. And it was a beautiful moment, man. Ugly, but beautiful. And number one heel turn of all time.
Number one heel turn of all time, like I said, because we talk about all these other ones being predictable that may have happened in the 2000s. Andre and Shawn already happened before this Hogan one, but you talk about John Cena's heel turn. There's a Hulk Hogan before John Cena, the guy that says, take your vitamin, the guy that's making phone calls, you know what I mean, to tell kids when they do good grades in school. So generally, like people were crushed when they seen that this guy turned bad. And then what I loved about it is it was last minute because it was supposed to be Sting. And Hogan was scared. And then last second, he got that heart, popped out. Hogan didn't know. And it was so crazy that even if the announcers knew the way they said it, they were stunned. Oh, Hogan's coming out here to help Savage and Luger. Hogan's coming out here to help him. What the hell? Hogan's the third man? It was just like, you know what I mean? Like the commentary, everything went with it, and then just the abyss of people being mad.
You know what? I don't cut y'all the name, but even the way he dropped that leg drop was nasty. He just that leg drop was even heelish.
Yeah, it was different. It was different. And then for him to dye the beard black, just the colors, the other character that you didn't think he had. That's why I'm so interested to see what Cena does, because it's like Hogan got to be a different, you know what I mean, person. I'm glad he didn't bring out Terry, but Hogan got to be a different person. Good night.
So earlier when I talked about Roman Reigns having the best upgrade of his character, and I wanted to wait till we got to this point, the only other person I can debate that with or even say may have been better was Hogan going NWO.
Yeah.
I'll make the case, maybe it's controversial. I think his Hollywood gimmick was surprisingly better than his red and yellow.
That's his final boss. version.
Yeah, you got my vote. I
Yeah,
like Hollywood Hogan better than Red and Yellow. Don't make that face test.
Hey, we talked about it. We got to double up about it. Go
Yeah,
to the playlist.
Hey,
Don't make that
Yeah, we
face
got to
test.
double up about it.
You know, with Hollywood Hogan, and I think I picked Hollywood Hogan there too.
Hey,
yeah, and we can't forget the merch we got out of that. NWO merch, especially
number one selling merch in wrestling history.
Bro, we got merch. We got the crotch chop. We got
John Cena.
Miz. We got the spray paint. Spray painting the title was crazy.
Right.
We got Rodzilla. Dennis Rodman was in that thing, man.
Malone.
We got the Wolf Pack.
We got the Wolf Pack. I love the Wolf Pack.
Wolf Pack was crazy.
Conan made me wish I was Latino.
Word. That's our top 10 greatest heel turn list. Y'all comment below. Y'all comment below. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? What would y'all put in there? How would y'all swap it out? Let us know. Good night.
Oh.